ripping headphones?
Yeah. Test. I'm gonna do a little intro and then we'll just fucking fire it up.
Yeah, let's do it.
And boom, we are live. What's up, everybody? Couple Casuals Podcast, episode number 22. I am your host, Stefano. And today I got a fucking banger for you guys. I got a fucking banger. I'm here with my fratello, my amici, the one and only.
My
Cugini, Ernesto G. What's up, Bello? Let's go. Salute.
Bello. Cheers, first of all.
Big salute, as we say here on Couple Casuals Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. Before we get into it, Bello, let me give a quick shout out to CandleHand. These beautiful paws on the table here, guys. Check them out at CandleHand.com. Use promo code CC10 for 10% off and free shipping. And then also, the fucking pints on the table, the casuals, as we like to say here. If you want to get fucking dickered with the boys, you're at the fucking bar, you're having a good time, you got to fucking get some Cameron's Brewing. So check these pints out. I'll put all the information down below. But without further ado, Ernesto, what's going on, my brother?
Thank you for having me, dude.
Brother, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it, man.
No, I actually was really excited to come on this pod.
Yeah?
Yeah. And I told you that,
I
too.
know you did. Ernesto's one of those guys. I got a story from do you remember when I used to DJ back in the day?
Way back, bro.
Bro, this guy was always willing to help, bro. I'll tell you that straight now. Because I remember you were talking about it and you were like interested in helping and shit, but I was fucking zapped back then, bro.
You're all over the place.
I was all over the place. But now, full circle. And we're back again.
Yeah, you're killing it, bro. What episode is it?
Episode number 22, bro.
There
we're moving
go.
one
There
at a
you
time.
go.
That's what we got to do it here. A couple
That's
casuals,
a lot. No, it's still a lot, bro.
We're making a move.
Do you have guests every time or?
Yeah, I have guests, but I do some solo ones too, or that's where I rip the TikToks and shit.
There you go.
You gotta
get the reels ready and just start fucking firing.
You gotta fucking ride the algorithm.
You
bit,
have
brother.
to.
You know what I mean?
You have to join in.
You gotta fucking do it.
You can't beat it. You gotta join it,
bro. The algorithm's on steroids on TikTok, and we know that, bro.
Yeah.
It is. But not too long ago, brother, I had your fratello on. I had Anthony on.
Yes, sir.
And we talked about his journey a bit. We talked about the beginning. Everybody knows right now, obviously, everything that's going on with Full Send, what's going on with the podcast and the collaboration, which specifically it's a collaboration, which I find amazing, by the way.
Same.
But let's talk a little bit about Ernesto, the individual, because I'm interested in that, bro.
Yeah.
Because I spent a lot of time on developing myself as an individual, and I think we kind of share a lot of the same values, bro, and that's why it's a buzz to kind of share these moments with you, bro. Yeah. So I want to kind of go back. Let's go back to like the promoting days, but even like I want to even touch a little bit before that. Even when you were a little pichari, were you always like extroverted and social and very outgoing in that aspect?
I don't think so, man. I think like that happened maybe later on in maybe elementary. I want to say. Yeah,
in elementary school, you started to get you were a quiet little.
I was just trying to. Yeah, I think around grade 7 and 8, I really got out of my comfort zone a lot more. Mm-hmm. Like I was trying to do shit, bro. I was trying to be like the school. I ended up being the school president.
So like that's stuff when you got into politics.
So stuff like I was already in politics, dude. You already know.
That's cool.
But yeah, like that's I think.
Here, stay right here.
Yeah. I think I always liked like capturing people's attention, like getting people's attention. That might sound fucked.
But I was the same way, brother. That's why I say I think we kind of share like a lot of like the same perspectives and kind of feelings, because when I was a kid, bro, I used to look for the camera. I used to want to get in front of it, Yeah. I'd see my dad with it at family events and shit. I want to jump in front of it. You know what I mean? Were you like that as well?
I think I was like that. I mean, my parents always make fun of me. They say I'm like I was like a Romanian baby because I was just like a fat little baby that didn't do anything, just ate and just slept. So they used to roast me. But I think you know what? I got to give a lot of credit to just the sport of soccer and sports in general, because I think that really pushed me to just see competition and just be like, winning, the feeling of winning, the feeling of losing, the feeling of being on a team. I think when you get to experience that at a young age, you carry that throughout the rest of your life.
Yeah, so, big time, bro. I talk about that all the time, the way the experience with sports kind of transfers into real life. And people like to brush it off, like it's not a big deal and stuff, but it's true.
It's so true, man. I mean, you look back and it's like you learn about teamwork and all these things that you implement now in today's day when you're doing things, right? Like whether you're at work and you're working with a team, you're on a podcast, you work with a team. So it really prepares you in that sense, where I think school sometimes lacks to prepare you in.
Especially now.
Right?
Now, it's different. It's much different than what it is. Now we're like the vets. We're the older guys at the party now, eh?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when we were younger, things like sports, guys, things like soccer, and these things that I know that you can touch on as well. These things are foundation builders. And then that's the reason why I ask you these sorts of questions, brother, because people look at the story now, and they look at, where you're at now and how you're in the public eye, and like everything that's going on with Full Send and all that stuff is all captivating and amazing. But they don't know the journey from before, when you had to put in the work in that dark room and do that kind of thing. So these are some of the things I'm interested in, because you even look at like our buddy Matty C, shout out to Matt Campoli. He was very introverted when he was young, right?
Yeah.
He wasn't outgoing, because I went to high school with him too, but then there was a shift.
Yeah.
There was something that changed. So like, take us through like a little bit of that. Like when you were younger, were there some things that kind of started to inspire you? Like even before like the promoting type of thing, were these things that kind of got you fired up to that even at a young age, were you yearning to kind of work towards?
You know what? I think going back to it, I think soccer really helped me feel helped me realize what it feels like to get attention. Like, in a sport, you do something good and your team's happy and your coach is happy. You go home, your parents are happy, kind of thing.
Or you're getting shit on the ride home.
Or it could be the opposite, right? Or you do bad and you know that feeling. So I think having that feeling and knowing that, I think early high school, I was like, you know what? I really want to be someone that people just know.
Right.
You know?
Which you've done a great job at doing.
And I felt it through soccer. And I liked it. I was like, oh, people know me. Like people on other teams know me and this and that. And it made me feel like I was doing something right. It's like, okay, if more people know you, like why? And it was a good reason.
Now, would it bother you if people were like, some people, I would say generally speaking, they would have good things to say, but would it bother you if you were to find out that they would have negative things to say?
Like in general?
In general, yeah.
I mean, yeah, definitely, bro. I mean, like, that would get to me. But at the same time, I usually deal with that really well. I usually use that to light a fire under my ass,
Yeah, I think that comes with experience, right?
Yeah, but I was always the type of guy to want to prove people wrong. And I think, again, that happened from sport, Like, you have a bad game or you have a bad practice and your coach is like, yo, you got to do better. Like, little things like that when you're, like, fucking 14, 15 years old and you're taking that with you. And you're like, and I would go home and, like, practice soccer the whole day. Like in my backyard, in my driveway, I would just kick the ball against the wall, just keep kicking it, both feet, try to get better.
Yeah, 100%. It's interesting because you look at like soccer was that, right? But then now it's what you're doing now, right? Yeah. It's the same blueprint that you apply to getting better at that skill. You're applying to what you have now. So then when you got when you got a little bit older, everybody knows that you got into the promoting. That's kind of like where we met, right?
Of course.
Now, what was that journey like, and how much do you think that played into like where you are now?
Oh, man, and you nailed it, bro. And you said like you just end up doing the same thing in a different industry. It's space.
There's the blueprint that you can apply in life.
And you look at it and yeah, when it comes to promoting, that was kind of in high school for me. I kind of learned about the industry, going to bars and stuff like that. And then when I got back from the States, because I went to school there for soccer.
Oh, you didn't? I didn't know that, bro.
Yeah, I got a scholarship. This school called Gardner-Webb University. It was a Division I school in North Carolina.
How was that?
It was dope. It was sick, right? But like I got homesick.
Are you a homebody? Well, no, obviously you're traveling.
Not really, right? I think that was just my excuse. I think I really wasn't that passionate anymore about playing soccer. And I was using kind of anything to get back here. But when I came back here, that's when I got introduced back into nightlife. And I fell in love with it again. And again, I think I was serving people, like literally, like they come, guest list, I got you, this, I got you. So a service industry,
right.
And so to say. And people just got to know me. That was the main thing. I'm like, oh, I get to meet more people know me. That was good enough for me at the start. It wasn't even about the money. I wasn't making money. I was making like $20 going to the club.
Yeah, so that was the sacrifice, right? That was the temporary sacrifice.
But for me, it wasn't a sacrifice because I was like, I saw it as an opportunity. I'm like, hey, listen, we're about to get into an age where everyone's going to want to go out. And if I could be their guy, that could propel me in a certain way. Yeah.
And you did a good job at it, bro.
Yeah, so that was actually my plan the whole time. My plan was never to be in that industry for a long time. Like I knew it.
Okay, so you had it as like this is a building block.
I knew it would be a building block. I just didn't know what it would build to.
Okay.
Like I was like, okay, when you're doing something and you just feel like you're doing the right thing, so you just keep doing it.
Yeah, 100%. There's something inside of you that's telling you this is the right thing.
You have the gut feeling.
Yeah.
So I just kept going with it, right? And then promoting ended up actually being my career for a little bit. I was making good money off it. I was able to meet a lot of people, connect a lot of people. But that industry is like, if you're trying to meet people, you got to go there. You gotta do something there. You gotta be a bartender. You gotta be a server. You gotta be a promoter. Be a host, because you will meet so many people. Promoting was great because I got to give value to people.
You did, yeah. You did. And it's interesting how much it kind of like intertwines with the podcasting, because I imagine you probably networked and then kind of used that as leverage to be able to kind of use your presence on social media, but then also through the past to kind of get guests, I imagine.
Of course. I mean, like, you always have to do things like, and think of the future at the same time. Like, a lot of people, I understand the whole saying, like, stay in the present, and I agree with that.
Right.
But you also need to remember that, you know, you have a life to live, and you want to maintain these relationships. So, man, like, the first thing I did when I started promoting, I looked at the industry. I said, okay, who's promoting? What are the clubs? What's going on? And I would just try to notice trends and try to be different than that, right? So I would say, okay, you know what? I noticed a lot of promoters, they don't give a fuck about, like, just a normal person trying to get in the club. They want someone that's going to spend money, blah, blah, blah. So I just realized, okay, I'll help that person too. That person comes to me, I'll help them.
Right.
Okay, a group of girls, maybe they're not fucking 10 out of 10s. Fuck, promoter doesn't want to help them anymore.
Yeah.
I swoop in, I got you.
There you go. Coming from different angles. What do you think?
But again, like, then that's when you create something different, right? You have to look around and see what's not being done, see what's being done, do it differently, and you're already going to be different. So people already looked at me differently because they already had an experience with some sort of promoter before, and then they had an experience with me.
But you were really good at building.
I mean, yeah, you ask anyone, they would call me, I'd be outside in a second. It doesn't matter who they were. I could have already had 200 people inside too.
Which not everybody can do, by the way. Eh?
No, not everyone could do it.
Because they don't have the patience for it, brother.
Yeah.
Like, you got to really have the patience, and then you got to really have that drive to, because you're aiming towards something.
Well, you got to look at it like a job. That's the thing. It's very easy to just get, like, swept off your feet in that industry and just be like, you know what, like, I'm making money and partying. I get to buy things, party. Get to impress people, party. And it's like, if you don't have something in the back of your mind as to why you're building that network, as to why you're going out that much, like, it's going to be tough.
There's an entrepreneurial element to it. Were you always entrepreneurial, or that's something you kind of developed?
I think I was always trying to do something different. Like, I was always trying to be different. So when it came to promoting, I did it differently. You know, like, I would have different events. Like, I would have day parties. I would do this. I would do that, just to differentiate myself and have people look at me in a different light than they would anyone else in the industry. That was the main goal. I'm like, okay, listen, they're gonna see me as a promoter. That's fine. But how can they see me in a different light than other promoters? And I think I did a good job of that.
Yeah, you did. And and then you found a way to, even before social media was social media, brother, because I remember even on Facebook, you found a way to utilize these things. And I think you were one of the first ones that I've seen personally, and I'm serious about this, that you saw where this thing was going. And
social media, yeah.
Yeah, you understood it.
I really did. And bro, like, you know what it was? Like, you have to remember too, like, I was Facebook early.
I remember you
Instagram
messaging on
early.
Facebook, bro.
Yeah,
like,
what I would do on Facebook was I'd message everyone about their birthday coming up. So I would go look at birthdays.
That's smart, bro.
And then I'd message them like a month ahead and say, hey, like, if you want to do anything for your birthday. And if you go back to my messages, like,
I got some. I bet you I got some.
You probably have some from every year.
And I probably came like a couple times,
yeah,
bro.
Yeah. And there's sometimes I go back and look at chats, and it's like I message this person like from 2015, 2016, like every year I was messaging them for their birthday, right? Until like, and you'll see like finally like 2018, they're like, hey, like I wanna go out. And it's
there
like,
you go.
So it's crazy how it works, but
that's the dedication.
I saw the power of social media right off the bat. I actually was doing the same things I do today, right? Like you probably go on social media and you probably see me commenting on everything, liking everything, being
your engagement's top notch.
I was doing that since the beginning, and you have to remember now it's cool to do that. You know what I mean?
You're right, bro. Yeah.
Now it's cool. Now it's like, oh, you commented on my pic, you're sick, bro. Thank you.
Yeah.
But before it was like, it was weird.
Yeah, you're right.
Weird for people to take in, and out of all the people I knew at that time, I would say like, let's say grade 9, grade 10, grade 11. I was using that platform, Facebook, the most. Yeah. More than anyone.
Because Instagram wasn't, if you're saying grade 9, Instagram wasn't around yet.
Instagram wasn't around yet. So Instagram came in maybe
2011,
2012,
12,
right?
Yeah, something like that.
And then I saw that and I was like, listen, like, I can really just get everyone's attention here. Like, this is so easy. I'm like, this is easy. Like, and even if I would also do this, like on Facebook, for example. If I didn't even know that person, but I thought like, that's someone I want to know or someone that would want to know me, I would follow them.
Okay.
And like nowadays, that's normal.
Yeah.
Again, I was doing this at a time where it was like, oh, Ernesto, like, why are you following people you don't know?
And back then there used to be like, you could see, remember?
Right? And,
remember
and it's weird. So like people are, oh, like, Ernesto, why are you commenting on like everyone's picture? Like, that's weird.
Yeah.
Like,
when people say that to you, for real?
100%. I mean, like, bro, you have to remember, it was new.
It was.
And there was actually like, it was looked at in a weird way. It was like, oh, is it weird? Is it dangerous? Is it fucking stalkers online, like fucking online predators? Like, so, but I didn't care.
That's what I was gonna say. So you didn't give a fuck what people thought, essentially.
No fucks given, bro. And I had girlfriends talk to me and be like, yo, like, what the fuck? You're trying to get attention from everyone and shit. And I'm just like, yo, like, you guys are so stupid. You guys are so dumb.
That's what I mean. That's some pioneer shit. You realize that, right? Because I really do think that you and Anthony really have a grasp of social media and marketing and this type of thing that most people, they cannot even wrap their heads around, brother.
And now if I told them, yo, imagine you went hard 7 years ago on Instagram.
You're right, bro. You're right. And sometimes I look at my journey and I wish that I did too, because I spent a lot of time caring about what people think.
Well,
and that's one of the flaws,
a lot of
right?
people did, bro. A lot of people were like, okay, I don't want people to think I'm weird if I post this. Or like, I don't want people to think like I'm trying to show too much or show off. Or there's so many reasons, bro. Or I'm more of a private person. I don't want people to know what I'm doing. But now we realize that you're in control of social media. Exactly. You get to decide what goes out there. Yeah. If something makes you uncomfortable, you don't post it. If something's private, you don't post it. Mm-hmm. But it took us 7 years to learn that about Instagram.
And I think people still are. They're very reluctant.
Of course, but now you see the businesses all on social media. Like if you're a business without social media, like wow.
Yeah, like you're sleeping.
You're either sleeping or you're just like a conglomerate already. You're like a green park where you're just like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, you're like a no that has just.
But eventually, even that company will either need it or be taken over by a company that's been building an online presence. It'll happen in every industry.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how like those two worlds collided, like the promoting industry that you were in, and then it kind of collided with the content creation and kind of like marketing company. Before we even get into like your marketing company, so how long did you stay and work as like a promoter? How long was that for, anyways, brother? Because it seemed like a good bit of time.
Yeah, it was probably 6-7 years, bro.
6-7 years.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I mean, like, yeah.
And you met a lot of people. Would you say?
Bro.
Like would you say that's where it kind of really started?
Man, that's where like for sure it started. I was, before promoting, I was just the guy that like he like I would be looked at as this guy that just wanted to be someone.
Yeah, you think so?
You see what I'm saying? Like
I'll be honest, I always thought like, bro, you're a beauty, because you were always very kind.
It's that
and you were
too,
very
but I'm
warm.
thinking like big scale, right? Like obviously like. Yeah, I was always a nice guy, respectful. I made friends with everyone. I was really cool in that way. But like, to take me to the next level where it's like, okay, you're past being a cool guy now. Mm-hmm. You're cool, but I also need you for something. You see what I'm saying? Like, you can also help me get into that club.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's more of a reason. But again, I always say, so you got to give value to get it back.
Yeah, you do. You do always say that. And that's some of the things that is probably, like Gary Vee talks about that a lot of the successful people talk about that. They talk about the value that you give. And I think value is a very, very important thing. Is now to you, like things that you value, is that something that you kind of figured out through experience, or did you have like a foundational, like these things I value, it's a part of my, like me as a person?
Oh, that's tough, man, because I've been learning about myself a lot the last like 5-6 years.
I would imagine, bro. So, you're doing a lot of things that takes courage.
Yeah, so I mean, it's tough, bro. I mean, I look back. Obviously, you don't think you'd be in this position.
You don't? You never visioned it at all?
No, I just thought I'd be successful, and I feel like a lot of successful people say that. They just say like, I just knew I would be successful in some way or another. And I always had that kind of like mentality, you know, like no matter what I was doing, if I was playing soccer, I was all in. If I was promoting, I was all in.
See, that's something that's there, bro. That's wired. What I believe. It's wired intrinsically. And then it's like a skill. You have to develop it though.
Exactly.
To fucking stay on top of it.
Right. And like I said, I was trying to stay present the whole time. And I think you learn the most about yourself looking back and looking at the big decisions you made in life, you know, and like, I think I made some decisions that changed the path of my life drastically, like throughout the last 10 years. Like when I wanted to leave the school in the US.
So you would consider that's a big decision?
That was a big decision for me because, man, you have to realize something. Like I was all soccer. My family, like, knew I loved soccer. All my friends, like, that's what I was known for.
And he was dusty too.
Yeah, I was pretty good. But imagine like calling your parents and saying like, I want to leave this scholarship.
So how did that conversation go?
It was just like that. It was like I called them and I'm like, listen, I'm not happy here. I don't really want to waste these years being unhappy. And I wouldn't come home. And you know what? They were super supportive. Thank God.
How old were you at that time?
It was first year university, so maybe 18, 19.
Oh, so you're a young pup. Yeah.
But again, like I made that. If I didn't make that decision, I would have stayed at that school for 4 years. Would have changed my whole life.
I know. Isn't it interesting when you look back? You ever just fucking reminisce?
But man, like it was crazy because I had a gut feeling that it's like, Ernesto, like if you want to leave, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And like, who has that at 18, 19 when they're just playing soccer at a fucking school? Like,
yeah.
But that could have changed everything.
Right. And then when you wanted to leave, did you have a plan when you came back?
No.
Or it was just kind of open-ended?
I was just like, I felt kind of stupid to people back home because I felt like a failure. I felt like, oh man, I couldn't even finish the scholarship. Like, I went there to play. I made this whole big thing about it, and now I'm coming back.
See, that's interesting. See, a lot of people, they don't know that. They don't understand that.
No, they don't know that.
Because that's a difficult decision.
That was one of the hardest things I had to do in my life, bro. Like, straight up. And I had to face the coach and tell him, right? This guy scouted me.
Yeah.
And had all this faith in me.
He invested in you. Yeah.
He literally invested money in me, right? So it was like, I had to have these conversations when I was 18, 19 years old.
Yeah. And that's a young age to have those conversations, right?
And then like I tell everyone, you want to try things, right? So the first thing I thought when I came home is like, I got to try things.
Yeah.
I got to try things.
Which is a very good thing. Because I think Jordan Peterson says these like, even if you don't know what it is, and you touched on that too, you said you didn't know what it was. It was just fucking there, bro. But when you try things, guys, you stumble forward towards whatever it is.
Yeah. It's crazy because like even at that age, 18, 19, you make a decision like that and you're like, what am I going to do with my life? And you're 18.
Bro, I can
crazy.
I can relate. I think a lot of people can relate.
Yeah. And so I came back and I'm like, let me try my hand at a few things. Let me see what happens.
And what were some of those things? Like,
so the first thing was my family has a stainless steel manufacturing company. Okay. Very niche what they do. Pretty much a fabrication plant and then a manufacturing with machinery and stuff like that. Full office, whatever. So they saw me and they're like, okay, well, he's done soccer now. He's probably going to come work here. Classic, obviously.
Of course,
you know?
yeah.
So,
yeah.
And I'm like, all right, fuck it. What else? I've been playing soccer this whole time. So I went there, actually worked full time for a year. And I didn't enjoy it, that's for sure.
But you ran it out for a good bit of time.
But I worked, you know, and then I was never that guy that was like, oh, like, fuck, I used to wake up early and go to work. And like, I was never like that teenager, that younger kid, right? I never did that. I was just playing soccer. So I was like, yo, let me get to work. Let me see what it feels like.
At least you fucking experienced it, though.
So I did that for a year, and it was tough, bro. It was like 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. kind of thing.
Oh, some bangers, eh?
Yeah. And, you know, it's your family, too, so you don't really want to let them down. But it being a family company, that's when I decided, you know what, like, I'm not just going to be here and just fuck around and not be passionate about what I do. Because everyone here, my whole family built this thing, and they worked too hard to build this thing to let a fucking douchebag like me come in and just ruin it.
But that's good that even at that age you were able to like.
Yeah, because I saw how hard my family worked, right? And I was like, who the fuck am I? I'm gonna come in here and fuck it up just because I'm the grandson, you know? And I was like, I don't want to do that. So I stopped that, and I went back to school. I went to Ryerson for engineering. And I didn't like it again. Left Ryerson probably halfway through that year. Went to York.
Another big decision.
Again, imagine, bro, I just came back.
Yeah, I know.
I did a year of work, and then I said to my parents, I can't do that. I got to go back to school. Then I finally get back into a school to do engineering.
Good school, too. Ryerson's proper.
Bro, great school. 3 months in, I look at my parents, and I said, not this one either. But again, like, you don't have to make this many like big drastic mistakes, but you need to make mistakes.
And your parents obviously were very tolerant of these things as well, yeah?
Well, yeah, they kind of, I feel like they kind of knew like I had a drive in me of some sort.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if they trusted it fully, but they're like, hey, we're his parents. What are we going to really fucking do here?
Yeah.
You know, we're not going to abandon the kid.
And you were honest. You came
I was
honest.
super honest with them, right? So I went to Ryerson, left there, went to York, played on the soccer team there, and then I finished my my undergrad there.
Nice. And then eventually, that's, I imagine, when the promoting stuff happened.
Yeah, when I was in school, like I had those apps. I had Booth and Bottle. I had Jukebox.
I remember that.
So I was diving into that, bro, like right off the bat.
And that's before all this shit. That's what I mean.
Yeah, like, it's fucked. It's a fucked timeline.
If you think about it.
Yeah, so it's like Jukebox. Well, Booth and Bottle was the first app that I did.
Yeah, and people didn't understand. They don't understand.
Well, I was early in the app game, you know, and that's why we did it. We teamed up with a couple of my boys from high school. And we're like, yo, you're promoting. Is there like not an app that you can get guest list? And I'm like, that's pretty good.
And apps, nobody thought like that back then.
Not yet, right? Not yet. So I was like, okay, let's do an app, and we'll call it Booth and Bottle, and you can book guest list and book bottle service. And while I was at York, I would leave York, I would leave school, I would leave class, and I would go straight downtown, and I would walk into clubs.
During the day?
During the day. I'd walk into clubs, say, where's the owner, where's the manager?
Fucking A.
And a lot of owners that are my friends today still remember this, right? This is how they met me. And I came in there with my knapsack on, try to sell them on this app. Said, hey, I want to sell you on this app. I want to get your club on this app. But
any bites?
Of course, I got some bites, right? But it was more so they saw me come in there and just start talking to them, and that's why they were pretty much like, okay, cool, let's try this out.
Young and eager lad, bro.
Yeah, and then Booth and Bottle ended up being Jukebox. Mm-hmm. We ended up collaborating and teaming up with IBM. Incubator Center, on
nice.
Queen and Spadina. And they took us in. So we had the office there, and we had Jukebox. We were working it. But hey, like, not everything works out. Jukebox ended up being something for me that was a very big learning experience.
There you go. Because like throughout this journey, this is why I'm interested in individuals' experiences and their journey, because these little nuggets of experience kind of are building blocks to who you are now and who you're becoming.
Yeah, man. And like, I forgot about the apps.
You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
That's why we gotta have conversations and we bring back some memories, bro.
Yeah.
But like I said, that was before the modern day. Mm-hmm. Nowadays, a lot of people are doing that. But
of course,
I've always been interested in content and this type of creation, but I never thought like that. But I saw this from the outside looking in, because we've been always interconnected and like same type of mutual friends and been always connected through social media. And seeing your guys' journey and your journey in particular, I seen like it makes sense when you look at it. You know what I mean?
It's crazy that it does.
When you look back,
crazy that it does. Yeah,
you know,
I do that too, and I look back and I'm like, yeah, man. Listen, when people say like everything happens for a reason.
Do you believe it? Do you believe that?
I do, but I think after the fact, I think like after you make those hard decisions, after you make yourself uncomfortable, after you take those huge L's, I think that's when it's easy to say, yeah, everything happens for a reason.
I know.
You know, and I think that whole everything happens for a reason thing is just your gut feeling.
I know, and a lot of people, they don't want to do that, brother, eh? They don't want to get through the uncomfortable.
It's scary, bro, but like the thing is, I was trying to scare myself from an age of 15. Like, I liked it.
You don't understand how interesting that is, because a lot of people, me, myself included, spend a lot of time avoiding that.
Yeah, and it's easier to.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't listen. I don't blame people at the end of the day, because it's a scary world out there, and to go out there and you know that you're gonna lose sometimes is tough.
But that's where the growth is, and I'm sure you can.
But that's exactly where the growth is. All these things I'm telling you, if I didn't go through even one of them, my whole life would be different.
Exactly.
You know, so even going back to the apps now, like that taught me things about, like that taught me teamwork. That taught me working in a corporate environment. That taught me obviously the app world. Like that's
interconnected with the digital content creation
whole
type
other
of thing.
World,
yeah.
You know, like and then I got to meet crazy people that I'm still friends with till to this day.
Yeah, and I think that's one of your strengths, bro. And I always say this to my friends and like my buddies, and I say, you know, if you have the ability to shoot the shit with anybody and be a personable individual, and like sometimes we look at things and it's the simple things that matter. If you're able to build rapport and relationships with people, even at a small level, like I think you've done a very good job at that. Yeah. And that is all gonna help to you as an individual, as a person, for any opportunities that you may encounter in the future, and it's going to create opportunities for you. So the small things matter.
And that's why I said it's like remember, like your life is not just today, you know. And I think if you realize that people like when you're like 18 to like 25, you fucking burn a lot of bridges.
Big time. Especially that time frame.
That's a crazy time frame to be burning bridges. Like. And people do it all the time because we're in an immature state. We're filled with ego.
Ego, I was gonna say pride.
Packed
ego.
up with ego. You know, packed up. You think about yourself when you were 21, bro. Like
Buddy,
me,
crazy,
I was like, who's gonna stop me? What the fuck? I'm the best. There's no one.
I
was like Mike Tyson, dude.
I was ready to go 24/7, bro.
So it was like, who's gonna stop you at that age from portraying that ego? But you have to go through those. You have to go through that. You have to realize, like, oh, fuck, like, I did that. That was because of my ego.
Yes.
You know, I'm just saying at that age, it's so hard to see that. You actually see that, like, 26, 27. Then you're like, oh, fuck, like, damn. So I made sure I burned as least amount of bridges as possible. Yeah. You know, and you know me, like, I'm I'm not for confrontation or anything like that. I don't have time for that. I'm just like, I'm trying to build relationships that are valuable to both sides. That's all. Right? So yeah, man, I think people are scared to do that.
Yeah, 100%. And I think they're also scared to confront that. Like you mentioned the ego, right? Yeah. And this is something I wanted to ask you as well. Is did you? Because I did this, bro, and I really needed to, because like I said, I valued the wrong things, like other people's opinions and all these things. So I needed to dive deep into myself, my own individuality. Did you spend a lot of time like developing yourself as an individual, like literally like journaling, meditating, whatever it may be, like all those components put together to kind of develop Ernesto? Because a lot of people see you now, bro. You're captivating, you're on front of the camera, this and that. But I'm sure there was a process before that you had to put in that work to develop yourself as an individual, and like touch on a little bit about that.
Like? My self growth started like I said, at an early age. I just didn't even know it. I think there was a point in my life where I was very selfless. I was doing a lot for other people, not much for myself.
Okay.
And I would say that was the time span of like when I was bouncing around those universities.
Okay. Early 20s, late teens.
Doing the apps and stuff like that. And I'm going to be honest, I had one relationship that was fucking awful.
Like intimate relationship?
Yeah. And I never really spoke about this. But that relationship actually was the main thing that like woke me up to the world.
Bro.
Yeah, which is crazy.
It happens. What's interesting is that I noticed that it's always that, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's the intimate relationship.
It's sad
it's the
that it has to be that, but like I don't regret anything, because like, man, like if you saw me 23, 24, like you would like there was a good year and a half where I was in a relationship and you would be like, yo, that wasn't even you.
So when you say awful, you mean like, I don't want to use the word toxic because it's
no, it was toxic. It was toxic. But you have to imagine something like I was a promoter.
That's true. This is
true. In a time when social media just started, okay? So it's like, and I just told you how I am on socials from the go.
Yeah, you were out there commenting.
From the go, right?
And you weren't going to stop that because you had a vision.
Yeah, and I think I got lost in the sauce for a bit, and I was like giving everything to one person until I realized that I was changing as a person. And I was like, wait. I don't even want to be that guy I'm becoming right now. Right?
Were people telling you around? Did you have friends that were telling you that?
That was all me, bro.
Really?
It was really all me, and that was like, for me, that was one of the biggest wake ups I had in my life. I was like, and bro, I've been single since. I'll tell you straight up, like, bro, and that's not because like I don't trust people or I'm trying to take toxic stuff from my last relationship, bring it to them. I'm not trying to do that. It's just because I know what I need to focus on now. And that was like I said, that's like 6 years ago.
Do you think an intimate relationship would be distracting at what it is that you're pursuing right now?
You know what? Like, I don't want to say yes because I know there's ways that it doesn't have to be. I just haven't found that way. Like I know it doesn't have to be a disturbance to my career or a distraction. I know it doesn't have to be because I looked around and I seen some relationships are making it happen minimal. Like small amount.
In the type of pursuit that you're pursuing, it can be a little bit difficult to manage the both?
It's so hard, bro. It's so hard because you have to remember, like, first of all, you have to be with someone who's super confident in himself, right? Because when you're with someone that may know a lot of people, it's very easy to become insecure.
You're right.
And I just haven't found it yet, and that's the difference. I think I learned that it's okay. It's okay to be alone.
Yeah, 100%. And I think there's a lot of power in us though in being alone, right?
You need to.
Because a lot of times people, they're in relationships, doesn't work out, or maybe they go through the same experience, and then they go right away to another one, right? They never take that time to really develop themselves.
It's about the kind of person you are. I already told you. Remember, maybe when I was 16, 17, I was moving around with a chip on my shoulder already.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was just another chip on my shoulder. That was just like, okay, just someone else I have to prove wrong.
Right.
And I'm just making this list of all these people I got to prove wrong.
That's the ego, bro.
Right? And I don't know what I'm going to do. I just got to focus on myself because everything I was giving was for other people.
Yes.
So once I started doing that, focusing on myself, that's when I took promoting to another level. I was probably one of the best, if not the best promoter in the city. And I took everything up a notch, bro.
Yeah. So you just invested.
I said, you know what? Like I just spent all that time on not me. So I'm like, now I got to spend double time on me.
Yeah, you made
so
up
then
for
I
it.
start snapping. Then I'm like, okay, I'm going to go. I'm going to meet these people. I'm going to do this event. I'm going to go to this photo shoot. I'm going to fucking be a model for this brand. I'm going to do this. I'm going to team up with this beer. I didn't care.
So you said yes to everything.
I wanted to be a machine. That's it. I said, okay, let's get back to it. And then that was a huge
pivotal moment, bro.
Huge pivotal moment.
That was that. So that's it right there. You know what I mean? We go through, because I've noticed a lot of times when people are in self-development journeys and when they develop their own individuality, there's always like something that happens, right? There's always something.
Man, there's always going to be something that happens. It's if you can point it out and look at the timeline of your life and point out the huge decisions. That's when you're going to look and say, oh, it makes sense now.
Yeah, and it's back to the point earlier that we said is everything happens for a reason, right? That situation happened, and then you could have easily went the other route where you didn't get dialed, right?
Exactly.
You could have went the other route where you freaking...
And you know what? I was in a position where the people around me were all doing that route.
You're all in relationships, settling down,
getting a job, getting that 9 to 5, which is fine. Like, bro, I don't care what people do. Anyone can do whatever they want.
But brother, that makes it much harder for you now, because I see it myself as well. Like everyone around you is wanting to settle down. They're getting married, having kids, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So it makes it that much harder for you, because then you feel like, there's that part of you am I out of the loop? Because I'm literally one of the only ones, but you have a vision. You have something that you're driven towards.
You have to be super strong as a person to not be influenced at that age, man. Like that's what it is. Like if you're 18, 19, 21, 20, all the way to 25, man. And you're in a state of your life that you're being influenced highly by the people around you.
Big time.
You're looking at them like, that's how I got to live my life, because you don't know how you want to live your life.
Exactly.
So I think at that age, man, it's like it's very tough. But like I was always the guy that like, man, like I don't care what people say. Like that's all it is.
And
like, people can go around and say like, oh, like what, Ernesto doesn't have a girlfriend yet. I mean, for 6 years of my life, people were going around saying, oh, I'm just a promoter, which is fine. But like anything to bring you down, really, right? So at the end of the day, you got to understand, like the world is not always with you.
Yes.
Sometimes it's against you.
Yeah.
It's okay. You have to understand that. But you actually cannot care about what people think. And when I say that, I mean from your girlfriend to your mom, to your dad, because I didn't listen to my parents either.
Yeah.
Like when they told me like advice for my career, I didn't take it. You know, and with respect, obviously. But I never took that advice, bro. And I always tell my mom to this day, I don't need advice when it comes to business. I need you to just be my mother.
Yeah. That's good that you have that open dialogue with her,
it's
right?
Just straight up.
And you be honest.
But
just
hey, for time, I didn't really have anything going for me to the point where I could say that.
Yeah, exactly.
And with confidence.
And you see, that's the most interesting part, is because like I said earlier, that people see the Ernesto now, but they don't understand the journey that it takes to get there. And a lot of people, they got to really appreciate that, guys.
I was all in, bro. I was all in on life. You understand? Like promoting, I was all in. If I had to go promote tonight, bro, I was literally spending the whole week messaging people, like anybody, personally, texting them, calling them, come out, let me take care of you.
Yeah.
For a night that maybe I'm making $50 to $100, bro. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, you have to, there was a point in time where I was like just promoting. And you can even ask Ant about this. We just kept promoting, and I was like, dude, when is it gonna stop? Like, when can I even stop now? Because I'm making money, good money, and you get used to that money just to go out Friday, Saturday.
I know, you're boozing too, right?
So I was in a place that was like, and I didn't know what would come of it. I just kept promoting. I just kept going. And then the pandemic hit again. And then it was just blessing.
But even before, so then from the promoting, then when did Neighborhood come into the picture?
So Neighborhood came about, I would say a year before the pandemic hit.
Okay, so 2019, 2018?
Yeah, 2019.
Okay.
April. And then, that came about. That was sick, man. I mean, I had my office for Jukebox at the time, which was at Dufferin and Eglinton, super ghetto area. I was paying like $500 for an office. I didn't even need an office. And then Sorella came by.
How'd you meet Ant?
We were just both doing events.
So he was promoting as well?
He was promoting. He had a partner at the time. He had his own group, Four Kings group. And then I was doing everything through Jukebox. And then we just teamed up. I mean, like, Jukebox kind of fell apart, and then that's when I teamed up with Ant. And
then you guys started working on the promoting, or then right away was Neighborhood?
We were promoting first, and then he kind of just like was with me a lot during that time. When we would do events, we would actually sit down, like make the flyer together, book the DJs together, shit like that.
Yeah.
But he started noticing like how many people would ask me for things.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
He was just
the
like,
plug,
yo.
dog.
Yeah. He was like, yo, you're really the plug. Yeah. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm just trying to, for me, I was always just being kind and respectful and helping people, because for me, it was like, oh, this is a win-win. Like, I can help this person. And whenever they want to go out, they're going to hit me.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
I helped them.
Yeah, it's the exchange of you're exchanging,
right? So that's why I would do it. And then he's like, "No, you gotta really start making money off this shit, bro." He's like, "You're doing photo shoots for brands. You're giving you're giving your photographer boy gigs and like all this kind of shit, right? You're building websites or you're doing this." And then that's when neighborhood, the idea of neighborhood came about.
Okay.
And then I called my sister. She was in Italy at the time, and I said, "Hey, when you coming back?" Because she was living there.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, "Oh, soon." I'll be like, "Okay, well, I got a job for you."
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So she's one of the founders as well. Me and
I love that you kept it in the family, brother.
Yeah, I mean, aunt's sister works with us now too. My brother-in-law works with us. So, bro, we always try to keep it in the family, you know.
That's what you got to do. That's the
People
Italian
you trust.
style.
Yeah,
brother,
people
you know
you
what I mean?
trust, you know. But yeah, man, it's crazy. It's really crazy when you look back at even just like 5 years of your life. 10 years.
That's the beautiful part about it, right? And it moves quick, brother. It moves quick.
So fast.
It moves
man.
fucking
it
quick.
moves so fast. But I'm so happy about I'm so happy with the lessons that I've learned and the mistakes. Like there was times where I was like, bro, I don't even know how I'm gonna get out of this or be better than this. And you're alone at that point. You know, when you decide that you're gonna take your own path, you have to realize you're alone.
That's what people need to understand.
You know, and that's the scariest part about taking your own path, right? It's the fact that you don't know where you're going.
Yeah.
You kind of do. You have an idea where you want to go, but you don't really know where the fuck you're going.
And everybody else is going somewhere else.
Everyone's on the 401, you know? Everyone's on the 401 going east,
going
right?
wrong way.
But that's pretty much it. And I think that's something that I didn't know at the beginning when I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to be the best. I'm going to be the best promoter. I'm going to be the best this. I'm going to know the most people. I'm going to connect the most people. I didn't think it would be such a lonely road.
Yeah.
Because there's people around you at all times. I was a promoter.
Of course.
But they don't know what's happening in your head.
Exactly.
You
And
know?
that's the good shit right there.
That's the good shit, right? But that's the shit you can't explain.
It's the shit you can't explain, but that's the shit that makes you who you are. You know what I mean?
100%.
You spending that time in the trenches. You know, there's a good saying that there's a difference between being motivated and there's a difference between being driven. The motivated guy, you know, he's all fired up. He's feeling good that day, and then some bullshit happens, and he fucks off. You know, like, you know, he wants to go for a run. It's raining outside. Fuck it, I'm not going today.
Done, yeah.
But the driven guy goes, I don't give a shit about nothing. And it seems that that's what you were. You were driven.
Yeah, and it was like a lot of the time it was just like coincidental. Like it wasn't even like I was trying to be driven. Does that make sense, bro? It was just like I knew I had to do this, and I got it done.
It was intrinsic, but you were driven. It was intrinsic. Maybe it's not something that you put your eye on, but it was something that obviously is a part of who you are. It's embedded in the Ernesto person, the brand, who you actually are, bro.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to look back at that story. Speaking of like the Ernesto like brand, like piggybacking off of like the neighborhood thing, talk a little bit about how you built your brand and like your social media presence is fantastic, as I said, and like. What was that experience like? Did you have any sort of inspiration that you were kind of trying to emulate, or it was just straight, this is what I want to do. I'm going to build my Instagram, and then from there I'm going to start making moves.
Yeah, man, I think it was the second one. I think like I saw that the power behind it, right? I saw like, and you can see the power behind it just from something small, right? Like you can, I think I was just doing things like commenting on pictures, and when I would see
engagement,
and I would see the person in real life, and they're like, yo, I saw your comment, that was amazing, and that was like enough for me. Just that one interaction, I was like, oh, wait, I did that, and now they're talking about it. Like, you see, and that was the only thing on my mind. I was just like, okay, if I can be someone where just people know me, that's it. I don't want to be a chef. I don't want to be a fucking this. I don't want to be a painter. I don't want to be this. I just want people to know me. Yeah. That's it. Right.
And then we'll figure it out from there.
And then I started using, that's when, like I said, the personal brand, I started really going hard on social media, engagement, but I was posting a lot. At the time it was different. I mean, people were posting a lot of pictures. There wasn't really video.
But then TikTok came, and now Instagram's trying to emulate that.
Right.
That sort of thing's happening. There's
of
a lot of
course,
competitors.
video is going to be the new king, but it already is the new king. But I think at that time, I just saw the power behind it. That's it. I just saw the fact that like, I post this is the reaction I got. That's it. I would just look at that. Oh, I commented this is the reaction I got. And I saw the power behind it before other people believed in it, right? And I just went all in, bro. I went all in. So between the promoting, obviously, I I would go out at night and I would showcase everything on my story.
Mm-hmm.
Or I would post a picture from the night of my outfit, whatever. And I would notice that works again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, I post a picture from going out that night. I'm at the club. I'm wearing a cool outfit. Now people, when they see me, they're saying like, hey, like, oh, like you work at that place. Like next time I go, I wanna come.
Right.
And I was like, wait, that's working.
That's working. You're right. Yeah.
On a super small scale.
Yeah. You're understanding the trends.
But I'm like, hey, listen, if this can work on this scale, that means that it could just be maxed.
Yeah.
It could just be scaled up.
Yeah, but see, that's a thing that there's a little bit of entrepreneurship there. There's a little bit of understanding the digital world and some things that people don't really understand. So that in itself was a skill set, because even like I'd always enjoyed content creating. We made videos when I was young and all these different things, but I never looked at it through that lens.
Of course.
So that's
tough though. Like it was like for me to look at it like that at that point was like a fluke to me almost.
Yeah, but it's a gift.
Yeah, like I thank God every day now. But like for me, it was almost like it was a fluke. I could have easily just looked at the app and said like, oh, this thing will be gone in a year, which I'm sure a lot of people did. But again, going back to my personal brand now, since I was promoting, I didn't want people to just look at me as a promoter.
Right.
So I started to do different things. I started to, let's say, I would call a hat store and I'd be like, hey, give me 2 of your hats. I'm going to do a whole photo shoot with them.
Okay.
And now people would say, Ernesto, you're not getting paid to do that. Sometimes actually paid for the product. Why would you do that? Because when I would post something like that, if I posted the fact that, hey, like I just got my outfit, new outfit, caller, thank you, caller, for the outfit, done. Thank you, caller, for the outfit.
Yeah.
Now, people that follow me think that I work with Caller. I'm collaborating with Caller. I'm not. The first time I did a Caller photo shoot, which Caller is like one of my good friends now.
Of course.
Hooks me up all the time.
Yep.
I'm wearing his fucking shirt right now. I actually bought a bunch of shit the first time. Caller didn't even know I was going to do this. And I went to go do a whole photo shoot with all the shit. As if I was like some fucking influencer.
Nice, bro. Okay.
Okay, I did the whole photo shoot. And I posted the pictures. Bro, but people are like looking at me now like I worked with Caller.
Yeah.
So I said, this is fucking interesting.
Yeah.
You know how people are reacting to what I'm posting.
It's working. There's something going on there.
Something's happening, right? So whatever, I kept just doing it, right? Okay, this brand, now this brand. And because I already did, let's say, Caller or let's say a Brims, then I had smaller brands that are like, oh, you did Caller? Here, I'll send you something. I said, oh, wait a minute, what's happening here?
Yeah, you're developing a little blueprint
so
there.
So people just got to see that the proof is in the pudding, right? That's the main thing. Like if you want people to know you for something, just go and do it.
Yeah, and say yes to everything.
That's it. So if you say, okay, I wanted people to know me as this cool guy that you can come to and ask me for shit and connect with a brand, connect with a DJ through me, whatever you need. Okay, so fucking be cool. What's cool at that time? Teaming up with brands, making content. Fashion was cool at the time for like pictures and stuff and showing your outfit. And I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to do all these things, right? And then again, like besides fashion, for example, where I started doing that, then I started doing that with liquor and beer.
Yeah, I remember that.
Hey, Lost Craft. Hey, see you guys are local. Would love to work together. That ended up being one of my clients. Siempre Tequila, same thing. Hit them up, bro. Send me a bottle. We'll go nuts for you.
Nice.
These are my clients today.
Yeah, exactly. So what you're doing is you're leveraging one thing to another, and it's interesting how the commonalities between that and the podcasting, right?
There you go.
It's like you're building a brand. That's what you're doing. You're building it, and you're working with everybody. You're saying yes to everything, putting yourself in uncomfortable situations that you may get no's, but I think there's real value in that, brother, because a lot of people, we got ego and we got we got these things in our head and these perceptions that we're concerned about.
Ego doesn't do nothing for you. This is what I think about ego. I think throughout life, your ego is like this. That's how I think the ego goes throughout life. I think when you're like, I look at my life and there's times in my life where I could have had a higher ego because of where I was. Think about it. I bring 100 people to the club. I'm like, oh,
yeah, you feel good. I'm the top G
man around here, you know? But if I feel like that, how am I going to get to 1,000 people?
But it's understanding that in itself. A lot of people, they don't actually understand that. That's
why
I'm interested
to see, moment,
to see if you put in any work to kind of see that, or that was always just something that you saw.
Okay, a lot of when it comes to the promoting, man, I would always see it, know, and that's always just me being super aware of my surroundings and like looking how people act and this and that and comparing myself to others and looking at people, what they pay attention to. That was always what I was doing.
Good, man.
But I think like a lot of the self-growth came like when the pandemic hit, I'll be honest, like that was like another step up.
Yeah.
When it was like, okay, like this natural self-growth stuff is cool, like making mistakes and now you do better, and you know, like you're kind to people. Those are all like kind of natural.
Then you wanted to like really start putting in the fucking work. Those are the natural things. Then you put an active effort.
Okay, so then I'm like, okay, you know what? The pandemic hit, and then when that hit, the promoting stopped.
Yeah, of course.
Obviously,
yeah.
and we're like,
nobody was allowed to go anywhere.
Bro, this was the first time in my life for a long time where I was like, oh, I don't have to go out next weekend. Like, think about that for a second.
Yeah, I know. That was just what you're doing all the time.
So I'm like, okay, like, what the fuck am I gonna do? You know, and I was always like down to be educated by people that I looked up to. You know, so first guy right away was Gary Vee. Gary Vee attracted me right away because I loved his love for social media. It reminded me of myself.
Of course, yeah.
So I was just drawn to this guy. I'm like, this guy knows what he's talking about. This is my guy. And that helped me a lot with learning work ethic. Like you said, right? Like, you could be motivated. Yeah, it's cool. It might get you past 2 out of the 5 days that you need.
Facts.
Right? But if you're consistent, if you're persistent, then you're blessed. And I think Gary Vee really showed me that through his content. And then when I learned about Gary Vee, and I'm like, oh my God, you can learn so much through people online.
Yeah, big time.
That's when I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
It's about to go down.
I can agree.
Like, it's about to go down, right? And then that's when I started diving really deep into meditation, which meditation changed my whole life.
Really, eh?
Yeah, meditation changed my whole life, bro.
Like you sit there. Is it part of your routine?
Every morning,
you're
bro.
a routine-oriented guy?
You know, I like to be. There's some stuff in my routine that I'll fuck around with and be like, you know what?
It's not a prison. You know, you do your thing.
Right, and I have priorities too. So, but meditation is a priority every day for me. That changed my whole life. Like, bro, like when you meditate for a certain amount of time, and like maybe 5-6 months.
That's a long time, bro.
It's a long time, okay?
That's good. Most people, they can't go past 6 days.
Right? But I'm saying when you get past that stage, man, you realize how much it helps you. Like when you're moving throughout the world, like you are more aware of everything.
That's what a lot of people
I'm more aware
say.
right now of like this room as I would be if I didn't meditate. You know, like I'm aware of there's art here. I'm aware that we're here together. Like I can feel your expression. I can feel your energy. Like that's more aware. You're aware of like people's intentions at the same time.
Yeah, because you're really slowing down your mind.
You're slowing it down, but you're taking in details. Like your mind automatically does it now.
Yeah.
And I think that for me was like a big thing. And that's like part of like the awakening, right? And everyone has their own, you know, alarm when it comes to waking up.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and I think I hit my alarm at the beginning of the pandemic.
I think a lot of people did.
A lot of people did. You know,
either good or bad, right?
Exactly, both happened. But I think like if you were able to take it and like I said, bro, meditation, that's like if you're trying to figure out your life, meditate.
You got to slow down the brain, guys.
Go meditate.
You got to relax for a second.
10 minutes a day, man. It'll change your whole life. I just made my mom start doing it because I'm like, yo, I don't care what you say. You're doing this right now. Because, bro, you know.
You close with your mom?
Yeah, very close.
Yeah, me too, yeah.
Fucking mama's boy, you know?
Yeah, me too, bro.
I got it tatted.
Oh, yeah?
I got it tatted here, mama's boy.
Nothing wrong with that, bro.
Nothing wrong with that. But yeah, I think meditation was huge. I think people underestimate that.
Yeah, these are all like little skills that...
And journaling, bro. Listen, you can go back now, maybe 5 years in my journal.
Oh, that's amazing, bro.
And like, that's not like I'm 12 years old talking about like, yo, like this is grade 7 and like, bro, this guy took my sour keys, bro. Like, I'm not talking about that. You know, I'm talking about like...
Real shit.
This was like when I was, from 25 to now.
Yeah. 25? That's when you started?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like, yeah, because I started before the pandemic. I would journal, right? That was more like, again, that was like the whole attention thing is like, bro, like I literally at 25, I was writing things down because I thought I would have a documentary written.
Hey,
about
you
me.
never know,
like, you see what I'm saying? Like,
but
that's what I'm saying, right? And that's how I move throughout my whole life. So it's just crazy. I think journaling, again, is something huge because everyone has so much happening in here and they never take it out.
Yeah, there's a big part. There's a lot of power in writing things down,
just
guys.
Just write it, bro. And I can go back to like 2 years ago, 3 years ago when I was in Tulum writing the journal. And I go read it and I'm saying things like
manifesting, etc.
Trying to manifest things, you know, like trying to put myself in a better mindset. And it's so cool to look back on that. You see your growth. Because if you don't know where you came from, you're not even going to know where you're going realistically.
Exactly. And that's very good. Clip that while you're at it. But yeah, when you put in that work on yourself through journaling, through these things, because our mind moves fast, guys. So when you take the time to write down your thoughts, that's how you organize your thoughts.
Yeah.
So these things take effort. So when you see, don't be so quick to pass judgment on people because you don't know the journey that they've been through and the work that they had to fucking go through.
I would have blasted it before. I would have been like, oh, that's some fucking voodoo shit. What are you doing? You're sitting down, you're breathing? But I'm serious, right? And that's like what people would think. Like,
yeah, because they don't understand.
It's like fucking, it's common knowledge now that meditation is like very widely used among people. Mm-hmm. But before it's like, yeah, this what the fuck are you doing? But like, dude, you sit there and you breathe, and I couldn't believe how much that helps your life.
Yeah,
I was in shock. And then when you learn that, your whole life changes. That's what I mean when I say my life changed. It's not like I did a meditation. I was like, oh, my life changed.
You have to do it for a while.
I was like, if that helps that much, I don't know nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything I was taught, I don't know nothing. I said, if breathing for 10 minutes helped me that much,
what else is going on over here?
I have no fucking idea.
What else is going on in this world?
That's why I'm not surprised anymore when shit pops up or this or that. Like, dude, like when it comes to meditation, I strongly believe every single person should be meditating.
Yeah. What does that look like for you? What are you doing? You're sitting there, relaxing?
Yeah, I'm sitting there. I'm just sitting there up, relaxed, like in my bed, or I'm sitting up on the bed, like just sitting off it. And then just sit there and you fucking close your eyes.
Music or no music? Nothing.
No, I listen to Calm. So Calm is a meditation app.
Okay.
So every morning they actually have a new meditation.
Okay.
But it's just breathing pretty much. I'm listening to a voice that's telling me how to breathe.
Right. Okay. That's
Breathe
self-guided
slow,
meditation. Very useful.
Guided breathing meditation. So
Yeah.
10 minutes a day, and it literally changed everything. And while in the pandemic, I was like full self growth mode. Mm-hmm. Meditation. Right after journaling. Right after journaling, diary. Now you're gonna ask, what's the difference? I'm gonna say the journal is the goals for the day. The diary is how I feel for the day.
I do the same thing. I have two journals.
There you go. Okay. Read a book. Read 10 pages. Read 20 pages. Bro, I was doing that every day.
Yeah. You have to though.
You understand? Like I was doing that every day to the point where I was just like encapsulated by anyone online that was giving some sort of education. That's when I came across Jordan Peterson. That's when I came across like crazy guys, bro.
Ernesto, guys, you don't understand. It's so interesting, bro, because I have a very similar journey. That's why I can appreciate it, and I'm so it's inspired and motivating to me to see the recent success and everything that's been going on, because it fires me the fuck up, bro, because it's like I've done the same shit and I'm doing the same shit, and I feel like it's helping me as an individual. Forget about anything else or any sort of success that comes away. That's the most powerful thing.
Of course.
You're developing yourself as a person, and you're only going to provide more value to the people closest to you, and then ultimately it's just going to help propel you forward in life, which it's done.
Of course, but again, like even looking back now, I don't even look at myself like, oh, like I achieved what I wanted. Like it's weird. Like I feel like I've just been achieving this whole time.
The journey's still happening.
And I'm never, because like you could have came to me when I was maybe like 2-3 years ago and been like, oh, you just fucking did that? Like, bro, you're fucking at the top. And you never think that way, I think, when you're just hungry to keep growing. And man, self-growth, like that's what really, when I looked in today's society, that's what really disappoints me. Mm-hmm. Seeing the lack of people's care for their own thoughts.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, it does make sense.
It's like, how many people think a certain way and do nothing about it?
That's the accountability is the word.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you need to take account. People do not want to take accountability.
So it's like you feel this, you think this, but you're going on with your life pretending it's okay.
And then you know what happens is they look to blame. You understand?
Of course.
They look to blame.
These are the same people that are very angry in their life. They end up being angry in their life because they never had control of their own life. You wake up one day, maybe you're 45, you're 55, you're 65, and you're like, what did I do that for?
Yeah.
And I think I went through something similar than that, smaller period of time, but it was still the same wake up where I was like, wait, why did I just spend all that time doing that?
Of course, yeah.
And bro, when you lose time, like,
most valuable thing is
you're
time.
Scared. Yeah, you're like, I can never do that again. That 1 year, that 2 year, that 3 year, I can never do that again. So I can only imagine people that wake up when they're 50 years old saying that 30 years, I can never do that again. And
That's
it's
a
like,
good point.
Wow.
Yeah, bro.
That's bad. Bro.
And that in itself scares you a bit.
That will depress you. Just that.
Yeah.
Just that alone, right? Imagine thinking that. So it's like, bro, those things keep me up at night. It's not really like success or all these things. It's more so like, I want to be the best person I can because I know what it feels like being in a spot where, you know, maybe you're getting no attention, you're getting no love, nothing's about you. And man, when I spent that 1.5 year, 2 year, whatever, I was like, damn, people actually spend their life like this.
That's why that experience was useful.
And then that's when I didn't give a fuck anymore.
Yeah.
I said, yo, everyone that thinks they know what they're talking about, they're trying to give me advice. No, they don't. They don't know shit.
Yeah.
That's when I woke up.
I'm doing me. That's what essentially you did.
I said, no matter what, I'm going to do me because it's going to be better than whatever the fuck that just was.
The alternative, yeah.
Right? So it was for me, it was like a period of 1.5, 2 years where I was like giving my all to something besides myself. And I don't think I'll ever do that again. Right.
And that's the value in that lesson. Now, when you look back, do you regret anything? Is there anything you regret? You can never, in my opinion, or not. It's hard to regret things because there's lessons in everything.
Whenever you think of something that you might regret, you're like, oh, but that led to that. So
exactly.
I really don't, bro. I think the only thing that I will regret is maybe having a little bit more balance in my life. But at the same time, I don't even believe in that. Like, I don't think you can really be, if you have a mind that you're like, you're hungry. You want to be the best person you can. You want to fucking be successful. You want to make money. You want to build a team. It's hard to balance that in life. You know, you're going to have to sacrifice. That's why I don't agree all the time when everyone's like, you know, like you have to balance, like a happy life's a balanced life. And it's like, yeah, I get that. But I also know that to be like very successful, there's going to be some give or take. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so you might need to allocate your time to one thing more than the other, right?
Sometimes
that's what you're saying?
An average person might say, like, you're doing the wrong allocation here.
Yeah.
But from me, knowing what I know now, I feel like I'm allocating it the right way.
I think that comes through experience and that comes through what you value.
Listen, at the end of the day, like, if you want to be the best at something, you're not going to be able to just put in 2 hours a day and then go have a date and then go see your family and then go do your laundry. That's a fake life. You're talking about the Sims life. You know, that's a game.
Yeah.
If you're trying to be the best, bro, I got to wake up and I know you're waking up trying to be the best now. Now I'm like, fuck, I got to be the best. I got to go. So what happens? You're going to work 8 hours a day. I'm going to work 9. It's because I want to be the best. Mm-hmm. But people do that naturally. And I think that there's a whole thing besides the balance. And I get the balance. Like I said, you should have a balance between personal, family, all this stuff. But hey, man, if you go look at some of the most successful people, that's not what they did.
Yeah, they were dialed.
They were dialed. Now, they might look back now and say like, oh, I wish I spent more time. But if you spent more time, you wouldn't be where you are.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a give or take thing. But I just think like when it comes to being an entrepreneur, it's very hard to have a balanced life, especially at the beginning when you're like trying to make something.
Exactly. And that's why I have so much respect for entrepreneurs. Like I see it with Matt, I see it with Zoe, I see it with you, Anthony.
They smash it. And you have to respect them all because like you move as an entrepreneur, right? And you're like, okay, well, I move like this because I know how much I've learned. I know how much I've risked. I know how much I've lost. So when you see another one, you already know they had a
Exactly. And that's what people need to understand. They need to respect about entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship. I say this all the fucking time. They incur all the risk. They incur the risk. They go through the sacrifice.
Yeah.
And these things need to be respected because not many people are willing to do that.
Well, I think there's a little thing going on where it's like now because everyone's just trying to be an entrepreneur. Everyone just says they're an entrepreneur, you know? So it's like, oh, it's like a thing where people make fun of it. Oh, you're an entrepreneur. Yeah, for sure. What do you do? But I think anyone who takes it upon themselves, bro, to do what they want in life, I don't understand like what's so bad about that. And I also don't understand how that's something that's so overlooked. Doing what you want in life. How is that overlooked, bro?
Yeah, because people, there's that the cookie cutter of what people expect people to do in life, right?
Yeah, and man, I just feel like, and again, going back to it, meditation, stuff like that. Those are things that help you stay super aware, so that when you do have to make a decision, a big decision, you are more aware than ever. You're dialed in. Why? Because you are just
you worked those muscles.
You worked your brain. You worked your muscles in your brain. You're in a position that you're prepared for. That's it. When you meditate every day, you're not meditating for like, let's say the 20 minutes after, which still feel good. You're doing it long term so that over 5 years, when you're fucking locked in, you're like, yeah, I fucking meditated for 5 years.
You have to be patient. And you know what the interesting thing is, brother, is that most men They look at that. They don't do that shit.
No.
You know.
But bro, again, for me, like I'm very competitive.
Yeah.
So if I meet someone and they look at meditating like, oh, like I'm like,
I don't. Yeah. What do you care? Exactly.
no, I'm just like.
But it's
like,
funny because you look at like the consensus amongst men and amongst guys in our generation. You know, maybe they got their fantasy football and they're watching football on a Sunday, and
which
they
is
don't
cool, bro.
Which
it's
is
like,
fine. Do your
those
thing.
are stress relievers. There's things for everything, right?
Yeah.
Like watching NFL Sundays is not gonna sharpen your mind, but it's gonna make you relaxed, right? There's things for everything, but you need to be doing things that you say, okay, what am I lacking right now? I'm lacking people skills. Okay, I need to be doing things to enhance my social skills.
Yes.
Simple.
Yes.
Simple.
Yes.
Not just go to bed and dream about it.
Yeah. You have to do something.
You have to
Where's
do-
the action?
And that's where everyone stops. When you look at people that are successful, you're like, okay, what does this guy really do? And then you break it down. You're like, okay, like the product is whatever. Like the business, I get it. Like I could probably do that. Where do people stop? As soon as the idea has to be in motion, they're done.
Yeah.
They already stopped. Everyone knows how to get rich. Everyone knows how to build a house. Everyone knows how to do these things. Are they doing it? No.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's laziness. That's
It takes work. There's a lot, and laziness. That's a big one, eh?
It's a scary one
very
because
common.
our generation's like the one under us, the fucking Gen Z. They're gonna be the laziest motherfuckers.
Yeah. Where do you think that comes from?
And that's just from they grew up on their phone. You know, we grew up half and half,
We did. It was
We did a
interesting.
half
We,
and
we
half.
grew up in the middle of it, eh?
which I'm so grateful for, bro.
Yeah.
Because I would not know what to do if I did not know my childhood the way I do.
Yeah, it was a beautiful thing. Beautiful experience.
Bro, amazing, bro. But like, imagine a kid now. Like, you're born now. Like,
You're right on TikTok, and you're seeing birds like crazy too. Like the girls, like I remember
Bro.
seeing much. I remember seeing Christina Aguilera, "Dirty." That music video used to get me fired the fuck up. Now these kids are on TikTok. It's very distracting.
But you gotta think like they're growing up so much faster, and that's bad. They're growing up so fast, bro. I
Everything's
didn't
moving
know
too
how to
quick.
do fucking shit till I was like fucking 13, bro. Like these guys
know.
are working iPads and shit. I'm just like, I used to go home, and I used to have to go on dial-up internet, and then my mom couldn't get any calls, so she's like, you have to get off the internet so I can get my phone call. Imagine you told a
Ernesto,
kid
I'm
that
trying to
today.
use the phone for fuck's sake.
Imagine you told a kid that today.
They don't understand.
Get off your phone so someone can call me.
Yeah, exactly. They don't understand. It was a different time, and like you said, we don't understand it. But we don't understand it though, too, bro, because we're in the middle of the technological evolution. We
Oh,
don't.
100%.
We don't really understand the fucking consequences of this.
No.
There's positives of it, and then of course there's going to be negatives of it too,
But
right?
you have to be aware. For me, awareness is number one.
Yeah.
Because when I'm on my phone, if I'm aware, that means I'm not going to start fucking around. That means I'm on there for business.
Yeah.
So, social media, like you said, has its good and it has its bad. There's a lot of people out there that use social media to spend their time. I use it to save my time. That's it. So once you see it that way, what do you mean save your time, Ernesto? How does that fucking save your time? Why? Okay, if I'm consistent on social media and I finally meet you, you know everything about me. I don't have to explain myself. I just save time.
That's an interesting way to look at it.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or it's all about impression. It's now it's no longer this is my first impression of you. It's social media.
100%. When you say, "Oh, do you know Salvatore?" You're gonna go. What's his Instagram?
What's his Insta? Let me check.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I see this guy.
Yeah.
Or
Exactly.
no, I don't know him.
It's your player card right there, guys.
So as an entrepreneur, as a creative, it's your resume.
It is, and people they have a hard time understanding that. They don't want to
because it's an ego. It's an ego thing where they don't want to pass it, right? Oh, nah, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. No one wants to change until they absolutely have to,
and that's a choice.
right? How many people you know they can change today if they really wanted to, but they don't have to, so they're fine. How many people you know? They were a fucking drug addict. They went to jail, blah, blah. They turned their whole fucking life around because they had to.
Yeah, they had to. They had to make a choice.
So
It's time
unless
to put
someone
them away.
has to do something, they usually won't.
Yeah.
That's when they catch the L. Because guys like me will come in and say, yeah, I don't have to do it, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
You got that drive in comparison to them. They don't have to. And I think that's the piggyback off what we said earlier about the modern day, the Gen Z. They don't have that drive and that fire.
Well, why do they need it?
Yeah, everything's quick,
They
rapid
don't need
pace,
it.
right in their face. You
They don't
understand?
need it, bro. They didn't have to. They don't have to do the things that we did, bro. Like man, think about when you were a kid, bro. Think about the things that you had to do when you were a kid. You know, like when you take that away from you, you'd be a completely different person.
Facts, yeah.
Think about all the times you spent with your friends. you even remember some of those times.
100%.
Which is fucked. Like I remember times when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Because they were so special to
There's
me.
always those special memories, yeah?
Right? I used to just drive around the fucking area with all my boys on our bikes like a biker gang.
Always. They don't do that, I don't think, too much now, eh?
Seen that,
They're
bro.
on Twitch or something. I don't know.
They're done.
Yeah.
They're done. Right? So it's like, but again, it's a whole other thing, but like that's parents now. Parents have to be smarter now with what they're doing, you know?
Yeah, 100%. It is a different time, and you know, you have to develop yourself, guys. It takes a lot, and I think it takes a lot of effort.
But do it because it's worth it, man. I mean, like you're 24, you're 25, you're 26 now. What are you gonna do? You're gonna wait till you're 30,
you're gonna regret it,
and then
bro.
you're gonna be 30, be like, oh, it's too late, and then you're gonna wait till you're 35, and then you're gonna have a kid, and then it's too late, and it's like, just do it, man. There's so many people doing things in life that you would think they have no right doing.
Right.
There's so many people you look around. Why is that guy rich? Why is that girl famous? Why is that guy have this? How come they're like that? Because they went and they just did it.
And that's why I wanted to talk to you about you as an individual and talk about that journey. And it was so interesting to hear all that because a lot of that stuff I didn't know. And I can relate to it. Yeah, and that's a beautiful thing. And I think it was a beautiful conversation. Now, I want to kind of get into the podcasting a bit too.
Let's do it.
Because you kind of, you developed yourself as an individual. You went through all those experiences and then you encountered the podcasting. Yeah. So touch a little bit about what podcasting means to you now, what it meant to you then, what did you know about it, and just everything under that umbrella, brother.
Yeah, you know what? Like I think when the pandemic hit, we were in a spot where, like I said, we were just watching a lot of content.
Content?
Like everyone was, exactly. Shout out fucking Gary Vee, watching him all day. Sorella actually came up. He's like, yo, let's do a podcast. And I was like, you know me, like I'm just down.
Yeah.
We didn't have really much going on at that point. No more clubs. So I was like, you know what? I watch podcasts. They seem pretty cool. People usually like talking to me, right? Mm-hmm. These are all things that you're thinking about. You know, people like talking to me.
I could do this.
Do you ever leave conversations? Yeah, you leave conversations and everyone's like fired up. Okay, cool. You ever like sit down with someone and like have like an hour and a half convo for no reason and you're like, damn, that was a good chat. I'm like, yeah, okay. All these things are checking off in my boxes, right? And I'm like, okay, let's do it. Let's fucking.
Is this happening in lifetime when he said it to you? Like,
no, yeah, maybe half of the questions. The other half I saved for the ride home. But yeah, I think podcasting was huge for us. I think we did it at a great time.
Perfect time.
And it was very intimidating at first.
Of course, putting yourself out there, bro, in a way that most people will not.
Very intimidating, right? And it's like, I think we spoke about this on It's Simple, but I was kind of like in a position where we were just trying to get better. We were just trying to do more pods, get better. And the main part of it was that we were still having fun. That's what kept us going. I mean, we went 100 episodes with just us, like just before we got signed or anything, you know? So like, that's a lot. Like you've done 22 and you know how much work that is, right? So it's like, but I think it really, again, you're rebuilding yourself. You know how many times I've had to reinvent myself?
Yeah.
While keeping the same stuff from my past and bringing it, but still reinventing
Transforming, bro.
So it was another time where you're reinventing yourself. And any time you do that, you're going to get a lot of attention on you. Mm-hmm. And some could be good, some could be bad.
That's a part of it.
And that's just what it is. But like, I was no stranger to rebranding myself at that point, because now you know. But at that point, I was like, okay, if I'm going to go I went from soccer player to app creator
to promoter
to agency owner to podcaster.
I love it though, bro.
And I said, let's go. I said, it won't be my last rodeo.
And from each one of those experiences,
we took something with us.
Exactly, bro.
We took a lot with us.
And I can relate to that too, bro. I went to DJing, to boxing, to this.
Well, think about, there you go. Bro. Now how many people you know?
Exactly. You build, that's a good point. You
how
build
many
a
good
network.
Experiences you have.
Exactly. You
right?
develop, and it's all adding to your stock as an individual, as a person. That's why experience is the most fucking valuable thing, guys.
Experience for me is huge. And I think that a lot of people didn't get to experience anything during the pandemic, and that's why awareness was lower. You looked at people's awareness, it was very low.
Because it was a time, bro, you had to kind of look within, because everything's done.
You had to, but guess what? A lot of people, they didn't look within, they looked outside.
You're right.
And they said, what the fuck's happening?
You're right.
And that's a problem.
But think about this. How many people through the pandemic became successful in result of it because they did exactly that? Your guys' situation right now is in result of the pandemic. Think about it.
Thank you to the pandemic for that.
Facts.
Straight up. Because anyone, but I said this the whole pandemic. I said, yo, anyone who sticks it out right now and grinds throughout this pandemic will be on top at the end of it. That's what I kept saying.
And buddy, it's another check mark there.
I kept saying
W.
It. I kept saying it, and everyone was relaxed,
Or they took the wrong road.
And then by the end of it, people are just getting out of the pandemic now, right? Just obviously now because of summer. And it's the same people that will say like, "The fuck, you have a podcast?" You know what I'm saying? Like, where you been 2 years? Yeah. That's how gone you've been.
Exactly, bro.
Welcome back to the world where we've been grinding.
You turn the switch back on, eh?
But I think, like I said, like you have to want it deep down. No one can push self-improvement on you.
Yeah, I know.
And I've seen that myself because I'm one of those guys that if I find out value, I want to give it to everyone around me. And when I found out about meditation, bro, I became like a monk. I was going to my sister, Anna, you got to meditate. I was going to my mom, you got to meditate. I was going to everyone, Sorella, you got to meditate.
And they don't understand, though. You have to,
and they're like, bro, what the fuck you talking about, bro? Meditate. Leave me alone, bro. I'm like... And then I realized, like, I would do it for a while. I would do it for a while, and I'm just like, these people got to find out on their own, just like I did. You want to be the good guy and push it, right? Because you never want to say, what if I didn't say anything when I should have said something, or, like, I could have helped someone.
You're doing the right thing. Right? But you lay it out there for them to take. If they take, they take. If not, one day they will.
But that's one thing. Like, man, you can't force that upon people. You can't be like, yo, go read this book. I'm telling you, bro, now you got to read this book. Maybe you'll listen to me because you're at a point in your life where you're more aware as well. And you're like, you know what? Maybe that's a good idea. Mm-hmm. But try telling someone that's not really involved with their self-thoughts.
And that's the interesting part about being involved in your self-thoughts and self-developing is that when you do meet other people that are,
it's energy.
It's so mint. It's like a puzzle, bro.
It's crazy. But that's how it works. And the more that you experience that connection with someone, like, when you meet someone, you're like, oh, this is my guy. Right?
Yeah, exactly. No, and podcasting, I've experienced that.
Right? So unless you experience that multiple times, you won't know how that feels. You see what I'm saying? We experienced it a lot, through sport, through school, how many times you did something live in a sport and you fucking celebrated. Mm-hmm. We know how that feels.
Yeah. That's why these things are so important.
They're so important. You got to experience things. You have to go out there because then that creates the way you think today. The things you were doing when you were 18, 19, those things affect the way you make decisions today.
That's why you can never regret anything. Fun. That's why you can never regret anything.
But you tell that to someone that's not aware, they'll say, "Yeah, okay, bro. You think when I was in high school that matters now?"
You know what I think when I hear that? I go in my head, brother, you got so much work to do. You don't even understand, bro.
But then you talk to them, they think you're the psycho. You're the guy who's cooked.
And you know what? That's fine.
But that's what I'm saying. You can't force self-improvement on people. And again, I was lucky. I changed that drastically, even though I didn't have to. Mm-hmm. I'm bringing it back now, right? I said people only change when they really, really have to. Yeah. And I'm lucky. I didn't really, really have to.
But you wanted to anyway.
But I wanted to. That was the thing. I really wanted to. I was like, you know what? The pandemic hit. I'm not promoting anymore. How can I rebuild myself?
And then that's when the podcasting came into the picture.
And
then let's talk a little bit about that, and then we'll go into the final segment here because we're already like at 120 here, and I appreciate your time, bro. This has been fucking mint. I think we're getting sauce now, guys. Couple casuals, you never remember.
We're up on King Street, eh?
Let's go. We're going out tonight. Who's calling me? But through that podcasting experience, what is the like? What kind of value do you take from speaking to these guests? From what was getting one guest to another? Touch a little bit on that because these are building blocks, bro, and it takes time and it takes patience. So, what do you take from the guests that you've had on, and how did you kind of catapult one guest to the next, et cetera, et cetera?
I think at the beginning I was really trying to get like different sort of information. Does that make sense? Like a niche of some sort. Like I wanted to bring on people that knew a lot about one thing. I thought business? That was cool. Yeah, it could be anything though. I was bringing on people that one guy, he started a sport that's Canadian blind hockey. He literally is like under NHL.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And he talked about blind hockey and how he started that league. We had a guy on that just does vintage glasses and all he talked about was vintage glasses. So I kind of took that from Joe Rogan because I was like, yo, these guys are all coming on. They're talking about super niche topics, which is cool because you do that over time, and it's like now Joe Rogan has like 4,000 niche topics he talked about.
100%.
So I was like, okay, that's cool. But then over time, what I took more from each guest was their perspective on life.
Yes.
Which was like, that's way
huge.
better. That's way better. Straight up. I care about all their careers and shit like that. Don't get me wrong. But when you can actually listen to someone's life perspective, and their perspective is based on all of their experiences. You have to remember that. When I say this is my perspective, this is what I think life is about, I'm telling you the result of all my actions from the moment I was born.
You're reading different books every conversation you have.
That's it. So you get to learn this person's perspective. Now, maybe I don't have to make the same mistake they did.
Mm-hmm.
How crazy is that?
Yeah, I know. It's just a
This
little cheat
person
code.
sitting in front of me, just gave me their secret. The mistake they made, so I don't have to make it. Or the way that they look at this because this happened to them. And now I look at it that way. So, bro, that is like another level of awareness now.
Yeah, that you're just
Where you're
garnering
like,
from these
okay,
conversations.
Don't give a fuck if you're a fucking artist or this and that. Tell me about same kind of conversation we're having now. Tell me about your life. Tell me about the lessons you learned. Tell me about the things that you did wrong. Mm-hmm. Tell me about big decisions. Tell me about your lowest point. Mm-hmm. Tell me about your highest point. Mm-hmm. That's when you learn the most about life, because these are all humans.
Exactly. And you know what the most beautiful thing is, and this is something I really wanted to say and give you guys respect for, is you guys monetized the podcast off of being completely authentic. And there's so much power in that, brother. I want to touch on that a little bit, because a lot of people, especially nowadays, you tend to bend the knee to what you think people are going to want, to what the mainstream might want. And it's just inspiring to me that you don't need to be a cuck to become, successful in these sorts of pursuits.
I'll tell you what you need if you want to be successful. You cannot give a fuck about what people think about you.
100%.
That's number one. So going into the pandemic, I already had that. I already didn't give a fuck. You have to remember, I was going out partying, putting stories up at 4 a.m., me at an after party, chugging bottles. I didn't give a fuck already. You think I give a fuck now? Like, bro, I
didn't give a fuck then. I'll give a fuck now. And I'm not going to give a fuck
I think
later.
That's the main thing, bro. I think literally, like, putting yourself in a position to be like, listen, no matter what this person says to me, no matter what this person may try to believe or influence me to do, I don't give a fuck. Mm-hmm. And that's the hardest part. That's the hardest part, bro.
It is the hardest part. Trust me, I know, because I danced on both sides.
Then when you're doing that, that's when, again, your career or path might get lonely. And that's fine, bro. Like, you have to remember, like, all the successful people, they're alone for so much of that time that they're successful. Kobe Bryant, he's in the gym 80% of the time. You only saw him when he was on the court, draining threes in the last 2 seconds.
1,000%.
That's for everything, though. Mm-hmm. So it's like, you have to put yourself in a position to not give a fuck. Because if you give a fuck, then you don't even deserve what you really want.
Facts, bro.
And that's something that I really started to put in my mind. Like, little problems or little people saying things. I said, okay, who am I? I want to be this. I want to be this big. I want to have this much money. I want to live here. I want to inspire this many people. If this person cheeses me, pisses me off, where the fuck am I going?
That's a good way to look at it.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So if this little thing bothers me, how am I going to get that thing? Because I already know when I get there, the problems are going to be bigger. Mm-hmm. So if I can't handle this, I can't even go there.
How am I going to do that? Exactly. And
again, it's awareness.
And that gives you the courage to confront that.
Well, that's why you have to do it, right? Or when that person says to you, yo, like, what are you really doing?
That's okay. You don't understand.
Let it go.
You'll know one day.
Just let it go.
Do you ever think about that now with those conversations? Now that you're at the getting some success and making things happen. Do you think about that?
Yeah.
You do, eh?
I do. And you know why? There's not many. There's few times. Because I remember, like, very drastic moments in my life, So there's been moments where people have tried to put me down and say that I would be nothing.
Really?
Yeah.
Like to your face?
To my face.
They're lucky they didn't get a nice smile.
Yeah, no, it's okay. But I think those moments, like, really, bro, if people didn't say that kind of stuff to me or try to put me down, bro, I don't think I would have had the fire under my ass. Because the fire under my ass is why I'm here today. It's not because anything. And I'm not smart. I'm not the smartest guy. I'm not the most fucking brilliant person. I'm not the nicest guy. I'm not the most respectful guy at times. But, bro, I just fucking work, bro. And if I have something in my head, bro, I just want to go get it. Mm-hmm. I just want to go get it. I have chips all over my shoulders, bro. All over.
I want the chips with the dip.
I want the chips with the dip. But I think, like, using that, here's the thing, too, bro. A lot of people will have something negative happen to them in life. It could be anything. And that actually brings them down, which is natural. But if you use that as the fire There's nothing stronger than that.
Right.
There's nothing out there. There's no book that's going to make you more fired up. There's no Gary Vee 30-second clip that's going to fire you up more. It's going to be that chip on your shoulder from that person doubting you, that person putting you down, that person breaking up with you, that family member telling you they don't know what you're doing. All those little moments, that's what it is.
That's exactly what it is.
No book's going to teach you those moments, bro.
100%.
You need the book to aid you in that growth.
Yeah, develop
So when
that.
things are happening, you understand it more.
Exactly.
Oh, this just happened to me, but I get it more now than I would have if I didn't read that. But it still has to happen to you.
Yeah. You have to go through those times that you're not going to enjoy. You're not going to like that. You're not going to like what that person said. It's going to fucking get that feeling right. You know that feeling right there?
Bro.
That feeling right there, bro?
Listen, there's times where I was like, bro, what the fuck am I going to do with my life?
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
But those are the fucking times.
And then I look on my shoulder and I just see a couple chips and I go, bro, back to work. You know what I mean? Like, that's just what it is. And now I'm at a point where people depend on me every day.
Yeah.
Like, this is different now.
Yeah, the team, neighborhood.
I got the team,
this,
I got the
that.
podcast team, I have the neighborhood team, right? I have people around me that literally wake up and they need me to get to work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that is a whole different beast. And I'm so grateful for that. I've always wanted that.
Listen, brother, what a fucking conversation, guys. What a fucking journey. There's so much more I want to get into, Ernesto, but
Okay, we'll do a part two.
we got to do a part two, Bello, because I got some other questions, but now we're at 1 hour 30. I'm afraid
gonna
this
have no
camera's
memory.
I'm afraid this camera's going to shut off. I don't want to lose this.
No, don't lose it.
I think it was an amazing conversation, brother.
Yeah,
I appreciate you. I appreciate you sharing that story. I think we got pretty deep. We went layers deep. That was fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
And I share a lot of those experiences I can understand. I think this was a great value for me, for you, and for everybody that's listening.
Yes.
So before we end it off here, I got the final segment on Couple Casuals Podcast. I call it Salute.
Okay.
Salute is my final segment on Couple Casuals Podcast. I give an opportunity to the guest to give a little salute, a little end off here, brother. So go ahead. Whatever you fucking want, bro.
Okay, well, this is for the Couple Casuals Podcast, as you guys know. I want to give a big shout out to my boy Pekya right here, doing the damn thing. And you know what? There's not many people in my life that I look at and I feel like have a lot of similarities with me, but I look at you and I see that.
Thank you, bro.
I don't know if you should thank me yet. Don't say thank you yet, because I don't know if you want to be like me yet. But no, but honestly, man, like I really like what you're doing, and like, you guys don't even understand. This guy already works. He works full time. He doesn't have to do this for you guys, you know, and he's doing it for you guys. So to do this, to edit everything yourself, to have the equipment, I mean, bro, like,
Thank you.
this is more than I've done, you know? So like, this is great, bro. Like, I didn't even do this shit for my podcast. And man, I look at this and this fires me up, bro. This is what really is the meaning to like following your dreams and doing what you love. You know, like I said, this guy wakes up in the morning, he comes back home. He could just chill out. He makes money. He's fine. And he comes here, gets the casuals out, and he has a conversations for you guys to enjoy. So like, bro, like, straight up kudos to you.
Salute, brother.
Appreciate you, bro. You're good people. You always been. That's why a lot of people respect you.
Sure.
Keep the podcast going.
Let's fucking
All
go.
right. And everyone out there, bro, start meditating, please, bro, before I snap.
You know, we're going to start knocking you out, and then you're going to fucking meditate. You know what I mean? There's a lot of value in it. I think you got a lot of value today. Ernesto, I fucking love you, nobody else. I really appreciate that.
I love you, brother.
Big fucking salute.
Salud, bro.
Before we sign off, tell them where to find you, even though they already know, but tell them anyway.
Yeah, you can find me at Ernesto Gaita on IG. That's probably the best place. Or at MBH Podcast. Actually, wow, I fucked it up. It's at Money Buys Happiness.
Yeah, you guys got this.
We just changed that. We just changed that.
Fucking love it.
But yeah,
Let's
hit me
go.
on the gram. I answer all DMs, bro.
Yeah, he's putting in the work. Guys, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out their channel. Obviously, it's fucking buzzing. It's fucking good content. It's real conversations just like you heard today. So big salute. I love you, nobody else. Until next time.